Hello, welcome to Camnet Television Main News today, the 18th of September 2023. To present Camnet Television Main News, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our headlines tonight: former President Edgar Lungu discontinues his lawsuit against the state. UPND members challenge the police to act against opposition leaders featured in a foreign documentary. And Inferno leaves 13 families stranded in Mungo District. In international news, African migrants expelled from SFAX center in Tunisia. And in sports news, MWAPE names final squad for Morocco friendlies.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Another news in detail. A 31-year-old self-proclaimed Lidanda's Desai compound mafia has been sentenced to 15 years imprisonment with hard labor for indecent assault. Vincent Mulenga was found guilty of exposing his nudity to minors below the age of 16. Meanwhile, the court has also sentenced a 34-year-old Harrison Mwakonkesha to 30 years imprisonment for defiling a 9-year-old girl. More in this report.
Taught to be ashamed of himself for exposing his nakedness to children, 31-year-old self-proclaimed mafia of Desau compound in Lusaka's Lilanda area hid his face while being led to the holding cells by officers shortly after his sentencing. Vincent Mulenga will spend 15 years of his lifetime behind bars for indecently assaulting 3 girls below the age of 16. The convict had pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of kidnapping, indecent assault, and a charge of assault contrary to the laws of Zambia. Earlier this year, the Lusaka Magistrate Court committed him to the High Court for sentencing after finding him guilty of the charge, but before sending him to the Higher Court for sentencing. A 5-year jail term was passed on him in respect to a charge of kidnapping, while he was slapped with 12 months in respect to a charge of assaulting the victims. In passing judgment this morning, Monday, the 18th of September 2023, Lusaka High Court Judge Mwakangoma took note that the offense committed by the convict is a serious one and attracts a maximum sentence. While considering his mitigation that he was remorseful for his action, the court said it was important for children to be protected from people like him, hence passing a 15 years imprisonment with hard labor. During trial, the court heard that Mulenga kidnapped 3 girls aged between 12, 13 and 14 and confined them in his bar in a dark room where he would give them drugs, have sex with them, and later took them to some lodges in Emersdale area and made them sleep with different men for money. The offense was committed between November 19, 2021 and November 26, 2021 in Lusaka. However, in his defense, Mulenga denied the allegations and said he never kidnapped any girl or had sex with them. He also said he did not give any of them drugs as purported. Before sending him to prison this morning, Judge Mwakangoma told him to be ashamed of himself for exposing his nakedness to children. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka High Court has declined to grant bail to Patrick Kawanu, one of the accused in the alleged gold scam. Recently, the Director of Public Prosecutions issued a certificate denying him and others he is jointly accused with bail. However, Mr. Kawanu, who rushed to the High Court to challenge this move, argued that the DPP's certificate was issued to a court lacking the jurisdiction to try the offense of espionage that he is facing. The argument was that the DPP issued the certificate prematurely as the trial had not yet commenced. However, the Lusaka High Court has dismissed his bail application. The court has found his argument challenging the DPP's certificate to be invalid. Former Republican President Edgar Lungu has discontinued his lawsuit against the state barely a day after commencing judicial action, claiming that it will only be an academic exercise. This was in a matter where the former head of state was challenging the authorities' decision to prevent him from flying out to South Korea to attend a World Peace Conference. According to a notice of withdrawal filed before the High Court, Mr. LUNGU submits that his action will be rendered an academic exercise by the 25th of September 2023, the date which the court had set to hear the case. More in this report.
Barely a day after commencing a lawsuit against the government challenging its decision to prevent him from traveling abroad, former Republican President Edgar Lungu has upheld his decision. The former head of state has withdrawn his lawsuit, citing reasons, among them that it will be an academic exercise if he pursues the case. On Saturday, the 16th of September 2023, the former president received a rude shock after he was reportedly ejected from a plane and stopped from traveling to the East Asian country. Authorities denied him permission to fly out to South Korea to attend a World Peace Conference. Following these developments, the country's sixth Republican president turned to the court for redress. In his judicial review, the former head of state had cited the Attorney General as respondent and wanted an order to stay the decision of the Director General of Immigration, refund of the cost of the air tickets, among other reliefs. But in a surprising turn of events, the former head of state has upheld his decision and decided to discontinue the action. According to a notice of withdrawal of application for leave to commence judicial review proceedings, he submits that the case will be overtaken by events because the said conference he was scheduled to attend ends on the 20th of September 2023, and the court has set the 25th of the same month as date in which to hear his case. He tells court that he has discontinued the case, adding that this will amount to an academic exercise looking at the conflicting dates. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
And civil rights activist Brebna Chengala has called on the United Party for National Development, UPND, to rule by the good tenets of democracy it promised while in opposition. Mr. Chengala alleges that the blocking of former President Edgar Lungu from seeking medical checkups in South Africa and attending a peace conference in South Korea jeopardizes the country's democratic status. Meanwhile, Ministry of Information and Media Director Spokesperson Thabo Kawana says the former president's movements are restricted to protect the country's security, and advance information of his movement must be provided before Cabinet Office on time. Here's a report.
In 2014, late Zambia's fourth president, Rupiah Banda, was allegedly blocked from leaving the country for South Africa for his medical checkup shortly after the Patriotic Front took over government with the late Michael Sata as president, while Zambia's sixth president, Edgar Lungu, was Home Affairs Minister. Is history repeating itself? On 10 September 2023, former President Lungu's alleged trip to Ndola was cut short after police officers allegedly blocked him. In the latest turn of events, on 16 September 2023, the former president's scheduled trip in South Korea via Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, was cancelled. But civil rights activist Brebna Chengala alleges that the ill treatment of the former president was planned and the fear of unknown is among officials in the ruling party. Mr. Chengala alleges that the blocking of former President Lungu from seeking medical checkup in South Africa and attending a peace conference in South Korea is incriminating.
Not too long ago, he was being chased from the Copper Belt. A week ago, he was in church. He even made a statement. Is that a man who is critically ill? Just because they are dead scared. And if he is sick, as they are claiming that he's sick, why did they refuse him to go to the hospital?
While former heads of states in Zambia enjoy privileges in the Former President Benefits Act of 1998, Ministry of Information and Media Director Spokesperson Thabo Kawana says the former president's movements are restricted to protect the security of the nation, and prior information to Cabinet must be made available on a planned movement.
There are no private movements, especially those out of the country. Wherever he goes, he ought to inform the government, and the government will make adequate preparations. We want to state here that restriction of movements of former presidents is everywhere. Former heads of state know too much to mingle with every Jim and Jack and in any jurisdiction of their choice. This is something former President Edgar Lungu must learn to live with. He will not take government by surprise. He will have to give government adequate notice. And if government is not ready to provide necessary security, he will be stopped from traveling.
Mr. Kawana says talks are underway to normalize the situation and assures that State House is far from the alleged information circulating.
That it is gross misinformation on the part of commentators to suggest that the former president, the former 6th Republican president, Mr. Lungu or President Lungu, was stopped from traveling by His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema.
The question begging for answers is whether this is a permanent mode of doing politics in Zambia, or will the same happen to any sitting president when they leave office. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, in Lusaka province has vowed to protect President Hakainde Hichilema, claiming his life is in danger. Speaking during a press conference Monday, UPND Lusaka province chairperson Obvious Mwaliteta says some opposition political parties are conniving with foreign forces with intentions to eliminate the president. Mr. Mwaliteta has since called on the police to bring all individuals who are planning ill against the president to book. He was reacting to a documentary allegedly produced by a Zimbabwean journalist making rounds where Zambian non-opposition members are accusing President Hichilema of championing a neo-colonialist movement to topple liberation movements in SADC. More in the following report.
The war of words between Zambia's ruling party, the United Party for National Development, UPND, and Zimbabwe's ZANU-PF following Nevas Mumba's Troika, SADC report on that country's elections seems to be cooling down. But not all is over, as the United Party for National Development in Lusaka province Monday, through chairperson Obvious Mwaliteta, accused named opposition political parties of colluding with foreign entities planning to harm President Hakainde Hichilema. This is in relation to a documentary allegedly produced by a Zimbabwean journalist accusing President Hakainde Hichilema of championing Western agenda in the region.
Call upon the state security to investigate the issue where the opposition are accusing the president as one affecting regime changes in the SADC region. Countrymen, Zambia has nothing to do with the SADC report. In fact, if this oil is coming from the SADC report, Zambia, the president of this country, did not send anyone to Zimbabwe. It's the chairperson of SADC by the name of Hakainde Hichilema who sent a representative from SADC to go and monitor the elections in Zimbabwe.
Speaking during a press conference, Mr. Mwaliteta vowed to protect the president from the said ill intentions from the opposition.
So I want to urge the youths that, colleagues, we need to strategize and see how best we can protect him, because we know now that our president is not safe. I don't know about what the government is going, what the Minister of Foreign Affairs, whatever, but what we are saying, this president of UPND is not safe now even to go to the video, even to go to Zimbabwe or South Africa.
Meanwhile, some UPND youths in the province have threatened to retaliate against what they term misbehaving of some Patriotic Front members.
So I want to advise them to think twice, or else they'll become crybabies.
Those who think they have taken advantage of the peaceful pronouncement our president made, I think the honeymoon is now done.
But Mr. Mwaliteta in response urged the youths to restrain themselves and stick to President Hakainde Hichilema's directive not to engage in violence.
So that we can react. Then when we react, you see, he was just lying. This president was just lying to Zambians. You can see violence now it has started. That's what they want. Want to say, no, we are not going to do that. We are not going to allow that.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Patriotic Front PF chairperson for Information and Publicity Emmanuel Mwamba says the storming of the party's secretariat by a material member of Parliament Miles Sampa is foreign in the establishment. Speaking when he toured the secretariat to witness the damage caused by Miles Sampa, who stormed the facility last week with the help of some PF party members, Mr. Mwamba says individuals who love the PF cannot engage in activities that destroy the party. Former Lusaka Province Minister Boma Lusambo also toured the Secretariat to witness the damage allegedly caused by Mr. Sampa's break-in to the facility.
They were very, very disappointed with the action of Honorable Sampa. Those actions are not PF actions. If you look at our founder president, Michael Sata, who I personally started working with in 2002, he was very categorical. In 2006, he literally won that election. And the country was rising, but he refused. He was a voice. It was not government saying, stop violence, stop the riots. It was Michael Sata, who had won the elections, who was saying, you can't be violent, you can't take power by violence. Michael Sata he decided to forgo that election, even if literally everyone said he had won the 2006 elections. He went on a press conference and called for peace of the country. He says, my presidency can't bring violence. I want to find a peaceful country. That's the spirit of the PF.
The Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company has shut down the Iolanda treatment plant in Kafue to conduct repair works on the main supply line. Addressing the media in Lusaka Monday morning, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company Managing Director Jili Chiyombwe says repair works are being done at a cost of 1.6 million kwacha. Engineer Chiyombwe says during the period, critical infrastructure such as the University Teaching Hospital UTH, the Levi Manawasa Hospital and Maina Soko Military Hospital would not be affected. He, however, says the commencement of the works also brings into effect the planned 60 days shutdown. More in the following report.
Has infected the shutdown of Landa 1 water treatment plant in Kafiwe to commence repair works on the 900mm steel pipeline to Lusaka. Minister of Water and Sanitation Development Mike Imposha announced the plant shutdown on the floor of Parliament early this month. To this effect, some Lusaka residents expressed mixed reactions on the impending shutdown, with many worried that daily activities would be further affected as their areas already experienced erratic water supply. However, announcing the development Monday morning, Lusaka Water Supply Sanitation Company Managing Director Jiri Chiyombwe said the shutdown will not result in complete dry taps but reduced hours of water supply.
As Lusaka Water, we will prioritize critical facilities such as University Teaching Hospital, UTH, Maina Soko, Levi Manawasa Teaching Hospital to ensure uninterrupted services during the shutdown. So these works will cost us around 1.6 million kwacha. 1.6 million kwacha, cost of the works. But of course, like we said, there could be some unforeseen occurrences under the pipe.
Engineer Chiyombwe has since urged members of the public to find means of saving water as well as maintain high levels of hygiene.
I make a heartfelt appeal to our residents to employ water conservation measures and reduce water wastage during the period, such as minimizing watering of the lawns and gardens. Further, we urge our customers to create capacity to safely store enough water which will cover the period of no water supply.
He has named some areas to be affected as Libala, Kabwata, Kamwala, Mrs. John Leng, Arakan Barracks, Skanze Camp, Mindstone, Mutendere East, Mandevu, Lords Park, and among others. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Now in a sad development, 16 members of one family in the Mulunga compound of Mungo District have been left homeless after an inferno swept through 3 houses Sunday evening. One of the victims, Mr. Yembe Ndala, says the fire started around 02 hours and burned all the household properties, leaving him and his children homeless. Mr. Yembe has since called on the local leadership and other well-wishers to help him recover from the devastating impact of the inferno. More in this report.
Mr. Mr. Yembendala in Limunga compound of Mungo District were on Sunday 17th September 2023 swept out by fire. According to the eyewitness, the inferno started around 02 hours, with the exact cause being unknown. Speaking to Camnet news crew in Mungo District, Mr. Yembendala said the devastating inferno has destroyed properties worth thousands of kwacha, thus calling upon well-wishers to render help in any way possible.
Nekusina tsene luziva kono kwa mazero tulu kwa fya batu bahuwa mulilo aluzwela fandi lufumana fya kuti keke na sinyehelo nani nduye mbona ye wala fokalezi mulilo kochisa kwale ni kwa situngu kwa kukuta kwa video yaka kwa chena nisinyehezo ki video fone ni piliseza ni mabasi yaka fone nopanga kashele nyina walekela muloho na walekela kakopokopo inani bana ba 8 boni utamwalapa wala kuti aninzo faike nizieleha ukupa kwa muso abo akainde ona nisishemo lukwele butuku untuse kuti nifuma nifoni kapiliseza mabasi ama ndo hao ni baba na bahabo bona nimbana bahabo na bakafela bazielehile hakuna vuba ipiliseza baba mbane nilikuboza bona licheze mateni matress.
And the others who spoke on behalf of affected families, Sara Kangenya and Kabuku Mubita, confirmed the incident and appealed for assistance.
Nishinyezi mandu amabeli yaka nyavuwa kuna seni yokoze mateni tenika za baby kafela nani na babeli mukena grade 2 kono kafani na kafala kwa kata zichile echo tukapumuso ukono kunitusa kwa teni akuna kona kukale kanizielele luli
yo usazi ukuli yawe yakisize kimani neba uli okundu mukanga utofumana kapundu watuka ulikile mwakukonera kuli muliro lutibe kono muliro hanile tuwatuka luli kastimu eza kuli mana kukona aline bekusutera koti ni mutu nizeni kona kukupa wabutata wuna nibona bo nikona kukupa kwa musoshangu tuse unakusinyehezu choana mwala.
Meno, World Development Committee and Satellite Committee Assistant Secretary Kaisha Namakando conveyed their concern.
We have received this disaster, fire disaster, at around the 02 hours. We communicated to the councillor and other committees in place here at the affected area with the satellite committee which is assessing the situation. We are seriously concerned and we are appealing to all people, well-wishers, including government itself, to come to the aid of these people who have been affected.
The property that have been damaged includes houses, among others, a video hall. The fire was later in the night quenched off by neighbors. No injuries were recorded by press time. Moseo Kavia reporting for Camnet News in Mungo, Western Province.
This is Camnet Television News. Join us for more news after this break.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savannah is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savannah Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savannah Farms.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
We continue with Camnet Television News. The Participatory Ecological Land Use Management PAP Zambia has doubted the effectiveness of the yet-to-be-effected Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program CASP in addressing challenges of farming inputs and distribution. PAP Country Coordinator Mketoi Wamunyima says the CASP program is more beneficial to commercial farmers, unlike addressing the plight of small-scale farmers. Mr. Wamunyima tells Camnet News that the CASP program can only be effective in the next farming season because there is no plan of how it will be implemented this season. Here's a report.
19% to the gross domestic product and employs 3/4 of the population, with a domestic production comprising of crops such as maize, sorghum, millet and cassava to ensure a constant food supply and food security for the population. On October 30, 2021, during the budget presentation for 2023, government, through the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, resolved to replace the Farmers Input Support Program FISIP with a Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program CASIP on grounds that FISIP focused on inputs and production but excluded extension services. Among other things, the Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program CASIP main components include infrastructure development, irrigation development, livestock, extension services support, farm block development and climate change adaptation. The Participatory Ecological Land Use Management PAP Country Coordinator Mketoi Wamunyima says the new program does not spell out how the challenges in the agriculture sector will be addressed.
Unfortunately, we see that the new CASIP has not taken into account the gaps that were realized in the last National Investment Program. And so we feel this new CASIP, I think, may not address the important things that need to be addressed in the agriculture sector. Of course, we do realize that it's a comprehensive program that will not only look at agriculture, but also the other supporting line ministries that would support the agriculture sector. For instance, the sectors that would improve, for instance, the irrigation systems, infrastructure system. We are talking of the market system that supports the agriculture sector. But I think there's still quite a lot of questions about the CASIP in terms of how it will address, for instance, the Farmer Input Support Program, because FISIP is just a small component of the CASIP.
Mr. Wamunyima questions how the government will fund the CASIP program when funding in the agriculture sector has been low for some time. He argues that the private sector, especially commercial farmers, will be the major beneficiaries of the program and feels the program should be implemented in the next farming season.
It to work because we have, for instance, been advocating for more money to go into the agriculture sector, and that has not happened. So we question how this CASIP will be different. We know that the involvement of the private sector is to draw money from the private sector, but we do also think that private sector participation in the agriculture sector is limited. The private sector is a profit-driven sector, and so they will go for programs that will actually make them make the profits. But our agriculture system in Zambia is predominantly dominated by the small-scale farmers.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, says the current health and reproductive health rights and HIV/AIDS-related policies and programs do not adequately consider the need of people with disabilities. UNFPA Country Representative Seth Brockman who was represented by UNFPA Sexual Reproductive Health Specialist Wezi Kaonga, says there is need to adequately address the challenges that persons living with disabilities face in accessing quality health care services. Meanwhile, Health Minister Sylvia Masebo, in a speech read on her behalf by Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Donor Services George Sinyangwe, notes that the situation is worse for women and children with disabilities who are more likely to be exposed to abuse. The minister said this during the National Disability Indaba held in Lusaka.
SGBV and SRH services because of distances to health facilities and lack of information on their valuable services. Physically challenged women and girls are often victims of sexual abuse and often don't access any SRH, HIV and SGBV services. This is why UNFPA has supported Ministry of Health to engage organizations supporting people with disabilities on challenges being faced in relation to access to SRH services. UNFPA has in the past supported training of healthcare providers, especially nurses and midwives, in integrated SRH, HIV and GBV service provision, including for people with a disability. To ensure that nurses and midwives engage adequately with people with hearing impairments, UNFPA supported the Ministry of Health to develop a module for basic sign language and train nurses and midwives to ensure people, women and children with hearing impairment are not left behind.
Young people with disability are up to 4 times more likely to experience violence. Further, protracted isolation and disruptions in routine outreach services due to COVID-19 have exacerbated existing vulnerabilities among persons with disabilities. Let me stress that under the competent leadership of His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, this country remains committed to attaining universal health coverage by the year 2030. This is because our government recognizes the fact that good health is a means for national development. Therefore, access to basic health services should be a human right in our country. This approach is also enshrined in the UPND manifesto, whose guiding principle is a people-centered, pro-poor development strategy that guarantees availability of basic needs for all Zambians. In line with the UPND manifesto, government would like to transform the health care delivery system to focus on prevention without necessarily negating the curative side.
The Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, has approved the establishment of the Organic Fertilizer Blending Plant Projects in accordance with the Environmental Management Act No. 12 of 2012 and the Environmental Protection and Pollution Control Regulations, the Statutory Instrument No. 28 of 1997. ZEMA Acting Director General Maxwell Nkoya says the 2 projects are both proposed to be set up in Chilanga District of Lusaka Province by Maukat Investments Limited and Gordon Horse Investment at a total cost of $2.1 million United States dollars. Mr. Nkoma says the fertilizer projects aim at producing fertilizer from organic material such as chicken manure, vegetative waste, black soil, molasses and sawdust. During the 7th Extraordinary and 11th Ordinary sittings of the Environmental Assessment Committee of the Board, a total of 106 projects were considered, and that the total investment value for the projects considered is over 243,000 United States dollars, which is equivalent to 5 million kwacha.
2 organic fertilizer producing plants. These plants will be both located in Chilanga District. They will be implemented by 2 companies. The first one is Maukat Investment Limited. The other one is Gordon Horse Investment at a total cost of $2 million US and $1 million US respectively. The fertilizer production will be made from organic material, particularly chicken manure, vegetable waste, as well as black soil and molasses and sawdust as a carrier. The organic fertilizer production will service the local farmers and contribute towards the government effort to produce cost-effective or affordable fertilizers that are also environmentally friendly and also ready for the market in the agriculture sector. You may wish to know that the Zambian economy is predominantly driven by partly by the agriculture sector, and effort to supplement government initiatives towards this sector and to grow it much welcome as they contribute to food safety as well as food security. We further want to indicate that during the 7th extraordinary meeting and the 11th ordinary meeting of the Environmental Assessment Committee of the Board, a total of 106 projects were approved, and the investment costs were about $246 million US dollars, and also which is equivalent to about 5.09 billion kwacha. The agency commends the support of various stakeholders that participate during the process of such projects.
We'll take our second and final break. We'll have international sports news after the break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
In foreign news, some 500 migrants from sub-Saharan Africa were evicted on Sunday by Tunisian security forces from a square in the center of SFAX after being driven from their homes at the beginning of July, an NGO said on Sunday. According to the NGO, the migrants were dispersed in small groups towards rural areas and other towns. Since Saturday, the authorities have been conducting a vast security campaign against illegal migrants, most of whom come from sub-Saharan Africa. Following a speech on illegal immigration by President Kais Saied in February, hundreds of sub-Saharan migrants lost their jobs and homes in Tunisia. Attacks were recorded and several thousands had to be repatriated by their embassies. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
An NGO on Sunday reported some 500 migrants from sub-Saharan Africa were evicted by Tunisian authority forces from a square in the center of SFAX in central eastern Tunisia. According to the NGO, the migrants were dispersed in small groups towards rural areas and other towns. Since Saturday, the authorities have been conducting a vast security campaign against illegal migrants, most of whom come from sub-Saharan Africa. They announced the arrest of nearly 200 sub-Saharan migrants who were preparing to make an illegal crossing to European shores. Following a speech on illegal migration by President Kais Saied in February, hundreds of sub-Saharan migrants lost their jobs and homes in Tunisia. Attacks were recorded and several thousands had been repatriated by their embassies. At the beginning of the month of July, hundreds more were chased out from the town of SFAX and expelled by Tunisian security forces, in particular towards a desert border area with Libya, where at least 27 died and 73 are missing.
Over a week since thousands of people were killed when two dams burst and sent a wall of water and mud crashing through the eastern Libyan city of Derna. The search for bodies goes on. Many people are still missing and feared dead. Many bodies are so decomposed that identifying them is proving difficult and disturbing for search and rescue teams.
As a Libyan, when I pull out bodies, I swear I cry. I can't handle it, but it is God's will. So you have to hold up and pull out the body. There was a body that was cut into two parts right before us. There is nothing to do but to pull out the bodies. What can you do?
With so many people unaccounted for and so many presumed dead, the threat of disease increases by the day.
The Minister has launched a campaign to give vaccines for all the categories, in cooperation with the National Centre for Disease Control and the Red Crescent.
Some survivors have returned to what remains of their homes and are overcome with grief.
We found dead bodies of neighbours, friends and loved ones. I cannot explain it.
Volunteers from across Libya have crossed the front lines, ignoring violence and political unrest that have existed for years in this deeply divided country. Many survivors want to know how this disaster happened and who might be responsible.
I have a small family of 6. From my extended family, there are more than 48 people missing. God will punish the people who were supposed to take care of the dam.
The UN says that more than 40,000 people have been forced to flee their homes. It was just like a dream that we can't comprehend, says this man. We just can't comprehend it yet. Help from abroad continues to arrive, but so far, say international and Libyan officials, it's just not enough.
In our sports news tonight, Zambia women's national team coach Bruce MWAPE has named his final squad for the back-to-back friendlies against Morocco, set for 22 and 26 September 2023 in Rabat. According to the Football Association of Zambia Facebook page, MWAPE will use the friendlies to prepare for the 2023 COSAFA Women's Championship that will run from October 4 and 15 October in South Africa. Some of the notables in the squad include Rachel Kundaranji, Barbara Banda, Irene Lungu, Everine Susan Katongo, Mary Vilombe, Martha Tembo and Lushomo Mwemba. Team's first choice goal minder Hazel Nali is a notable absentee after successfully undergoing a knee surgery in Christchurch, New Zealand last month following an injury that kept her out of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Catherine Musonda, playing her tread at Tomiris Turan, Kazakhstan, is expected to be the main goalkeeper. The Copper Queens are in Group B alongside Angola, Mozambique and Comoros at the regional competition.
The team is ready and everyone is up to the task. Since the day the camp started, everyone is up for the game, and I think it's a good preparation for us because we have Olympic qualifier. So these friendly games, they will help us to put ourselves in shape as a team. And ahead of that, we have COSAFA, which is also very important for us for preparation. Yeah, it's very important because looking at Morocco is not an easy team. So at least we always, when we meet bigger teams like that, we always know how far we are moving with the team. So it's very important for us. And these are the games that we have to concentrate more and at least get maximum point on those friendly games. Yeah, it won't be an easy game. So we just have to be focused and determined, mentally and physically fit. So hoping this time around, we don't want to have that draw, but to carry a maximum point. I think it will be very good because looking at Olympic, it's a very big tournament, and coming from the World Cup, I think most of us players, we've gained the experience from the high level. So we just have to do our level best. It won't be easy to qualify to the Olympics, but we just have to make sure and work together as a team.
To end the news, the top stories once again. Former President Edgar Lungu discontinues his lawsuit against the state. UPND members challenge the police to act against opposition leaders featured in a foreign documentary. An INFERNO leaves 13 families stranded in Mungo District. In international news, African migrants expelled from SFAX Center in Tunisia. And in sports news, MWAPE names final squad for Morocco friendlies. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Philippians 2 verse 3 to 4. In whatever you do, don't let selfishness or pride be your guide. Be humble and honor others more than yourselves. Don't be interested only in your own life, but care about the lives of others too. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.